Hey guys, Chris from Provo Beast Audio Installation, and today we're actually unboxing this brand new Sony Apple CarPlay unit. It's the XAV-AX100. So let's go ahead and get this pulled apart and show you some of its features. We would like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Sonic Electronics. So check them out for great deals on speakers, head units, amps, subs, wiring, etc. Use discount code ProvoBeast for an instant 5% off your next purchase during checkout. It's a single DIN body or chassis, but it's a double DIN screen. Now the reasoning behind this, since it is a multimedia unit, there's actually no CD drive within this unit, and so you can actually save on a lot of space within the chassis itself. So first of all, we have our USB extension cable. On the back of the radio itself, we actually have a USB input. We got our Bluetooth microphone. And lastly, we have our wiring harness. Now this wiring harness itself, standard aftermarket wiring colors. Actually pretty straightforward if you're wiring it into an aftermarket harness adapter for your car specifically, but pretty straightforward. And if you don't know what it is, they're also labeled in addition to being labeled within your manual itself. Finally, we have our warranty information and our main manual for operation. So we got our track forward and track back button, our volume, and then you can hold that down for your voice. For example, it activates Siri if you had an iPhone. And then we have our home button, and you can push it again, and it's kind of more so a mute as well. There's not a whole lot of inputs like what for example, a Pioneer would have, but you do have your 3 sets of pre-outputs. You have your front output. As far as I can tell, these are 2 volts. We have a rear output set and then a single sub output. Now, if you're wondering how are you going to hook 2 RCAs, if you had a 2-channel input on your sub amplifier, just use a RCA splitter there. That's where a mic will go in as well. Here's our standard Motorola input for our AM FM radio. Over here, our main wiring harness input with a 10 amp fuse. We have really an extension, so if we, for example, had XM radio or an external module of sorts. And then finally, if you have steering wheel volume controls, you can actually purchase the adapter, and that adapter plugs into that port there. And of course, like we mentioned, we got our USB input there. So as you may notice, there's no video input, there's no aux input as well, which may limit some of your options, but nowadays more so. For example, iPhones have gone away from the aux input anyways. So on the back here, there's really no inputs except for your camera input if you were installing a reverse camera, and then your extension input there as well. So a little bit different. It may be limited for what you may need it for, but for the options here and how small this package is, it's actually pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get this all set up here on the bench and show you some of the features. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this thing booted up. It's connected to our little test bench here. So you can already tell that the screen resolution on this radio is actually pretty crisp. Turn off the demo for now. Hit OK. Alright, so we have our main options here, and as you can see, it's your main home screen. It looks really nice, really crisp, kind of an upgraded look. You got your tuner here, you got USB, Bluetooth audio phone, and your rear camera. Cool thing about the rear camera is it depends how you install the actual rear view camera, but if you have it set up where it's on all the time, you can actually turn it on with a super simple touch to see what's right behind you without actually needing to be in reverse. With our phone here, once we get that paired, you can actually set presets, recent calls. You can make a call, you'll have your phone book, and you can actually dial here itself. Now this is through the actual Sony side of the software. Of course, if you're using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you won't use this menu all that often. But if you don't have a smartphone, it still allows you to use these features just on a kind of a different setup here. Now if we swipe here, we got a little settings. Now, if you've had a Sony in the past, they generally keep their settings fairly similar from model to model. We've had a couple come through the shop here, but these are our general settings. We have our language. You can adjust the time, the clock, the beep on and off. Touch panel adjust. You got your camera input. Now you can click on that, normal or reverse, basically if it's either a ground or a positive type of signal. Adjust your Bluetooth connections. You can reset all Bluetooth settings through this feature here. Adjust your rear view camera actual setting. You can do a factory reset. If Sony provides firmware updates, you'd go there as well. That's essentially all your general settings. Now we can hit the note here, basically all our sound settings. Your bass adjustment, you got your subwoofer and 10-band equalizer adjustment, your balance fader, your crossover points, front, rear, and sub. And then finally here for your visual settings, you can adjust the wallpaper. Essentially, if you want to use any of these preset ones, you can, or you can hit the plus and really add your own. Now, of course, you can display album artwork, USB video frame rate, 60 frames per second, and then you can adjust your demo. So pretty straightforward in terms of the actual options within the settings menu. When we click on our tuner here, we can go back and forth between the bands, and you can set your presets here as well. We'll hit our home button again. A USB. Now Bluetooth audio, when you go ahead and set up your Bluetooth phone here, of course you can go ahead and set that up there through our pairing option, but you can reconnect if you ever got disconnected. It should always reconnect to your phone automatically when you turn on the key and get into the car. Really it only connects to the last phone paired. Now the nice thing is you can stream audio if you choose not to use the CarPlay or Android Auto function. So that's really it. Pretty cool. There's a lot of great features, but for the average user, it's pretty much exactly what you'd need it for. So we're going to go ahead and get Apple CarPlay all set up for you so you can kind of see what that looks like on this unit radio itself. Alright, so we have an iPhone here. What we're going to do is plug in your iPhone. Now you'll need to ensure that your iPhone in the settings, the CarPlay feature is turned on. All you need to do is just plug it in. It's going to immediately charge the phone. Alright, there we are. Okay, so essentially here you have your most recent apps on the left hand side. You have your main Apple CarPlay features apps that are CarPlay compatible, your phone music, and this is music directly on your phone specifically. You have your maps. Now this is not Google Maps, this is only Apple Maps, note of that. You have your recent messages, the same notification number will display on your phone as well. Now playing is any of the sources that's currently playing from your phone. You can quickly go there to see what's playing. You can click on that. Of course, the last thing on this phone that was being played was Pandora. And then finally, we have your podcast if you have any on your phone and audiobooks. Now, of course, there's more. You grab it and you can just swipe to the right. We got Pandora and we got Spotify. Now, of course, if you had Amazon Music or any other compatible app, that would show there as well. So pretty cool. Now, the nice thing is on the right hand side, you can click on your recently used apps as well and quickly navigate multitask. Now, of course, you'll notice whatever screen you're on, you'll have your home button here, which will always take you back to that main screen. Also with your phone, if you go to your home screen on the phone and not the radio will follow what the phone does and go to your main back screen as well. So kind of cool, multiple ways to do the same thing, but essentially that is your unit set up. We're going to go ahead and click on music here. You'll notice you can quickly scroll through. It's pretty smooth, which is the nice thing. We got just whatever is currently set up. Got the Temptations here. You can shuffle quickly. We got our YouTube, Songs of Innocence. There is your setup. You can quickly turn on repeat 1, repeat all, or repeat off. You can turn on your shuffle, shuffle off. You can hit this middle button. If you love it, you can dislike it. Up next, which is kind of cool, you can see what's in queue. You can hit back here. You can also quickly hit shuffle that album there. Pretty cool. Now if you hold down the push to talk, Siri will activate. But that's about it. Just a super quick summary on Apple CarPlay. Well guys, that's about it. Hopefully you learned something new. We really like the Sony unit. Like I said, check the description. We'll have some specs for you. We'll even have the link to where you can purchase it from Sonic Electronics. Use coupon code ProvoBeast. We'll save you some cash upon checkout if you want to pick one of these up for yourself. Like I said, guys, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and if you have a question, throw a comment below. This is Chris from ProvoBeast Audio Installation. I hope you liked this video, and we will certainly see you in the next one. Have a good day.